How's it going, folks? Stu here. Did somebody say another film festival review? I hope you did, because you're getting one. The London Film Festival is continuing, and I just saw The Lost Boys, which is a film that I had no idea about up until before this festival. It's my favourite thing about festival season. Films just throw themselves at you. They jump out of you like a... I was going to say streaker in the park. No. Why did my head go there? This one is a Belgian drama directed by Zeno Graton. I believe it's his first feature film as a director, which is always fun to see. And it tells a story of two young men that fall in love in a juvenile detention facility in Belgium. And it is a really kind of simple but quite effective little drama, this one. I wasn't hugely blown away by it, but I still found that there was a lot to really enjoy in this film. And I think as a first-time feature director, Graton shows some real promise here with his approach to a romance like this. The first thing that immediately I was struck by in the film was just how good this thing looked. It's a very nice and pleasing film to look at on the eye, which I think always complements a romantic love story, right? But the look of the film really helps you sort of, I guess, soak yourself into the sort of slower paced drama of this thing, because even though it's quite a short film, coming in at, I believe, about, what are we talking about, under 90 minutes. First up, just yes, high five for an under 90 minute film. But despite its short runtime, it's a film which definitely does sort of take its time with this relationship on the whole, which I think works in its favour. It does make for broadly quite a believable romantic story at the centre of the film, which is also led by some really great performances. Khalil Ben Garbia plays Joe in the lead here. The film is his film, even though it is a film about a relationship. It is first and foremost a film about him and his character, and he does really bring this kind of simmering emotion to the film. I think his performance is probably the strongest thing about the film. I didn't ever not believe him as his character. I think he rides a very fine line, a very satisfying line between being quiet but giving enough to us as an audience. And paired alongside the direction from Graton, I think it works really well to illuminate things that are going on in his head and in his life without ever feeling like they need to fully address those, which is something I'm always keen on in films. I love when that shit happens. It does, however, mean that any moments that don't feel as, I suppose, well earned or patiently unraveled to us as a viewer can feel a little bit more jarring. And those moments are definitely in there, littered throughout the film's runtime. There are just certain climactic moments, I suppose, or certain confrontations between characters, which can sometimes feel a little bit heavy-handed, a little bit forced. And I think, actually, having just mentioned that it's a shorter film, I do feel like a little bit extra runtime might have helped the film to sort of flesh things out in those respects, because even though it is a patient film and it isn't a film which is particularly filled with lots of things happening all the time, there are these junctions in the narrative which I think maybe might have benefited from a little bit more fleshing out, might have felt a little bit more emotionally resonant. It does sometimes feel a lot like we're watching a relationship and a drama unfold that we've seen unfold in many dramas before it. I don't think all films need to be groundbreaking and new, but I do think it is the case that some films, you know, feel like they might benefit from pushing the boat out a little bit more, or feel like at least kind of fall a little bit victim to some of the convention traps we've seen before. But luckily the central characters are fleshed out enough and do have good enough performances, and the film does look as good as it does. So it's effective. I enjoyed it. I found myself wrapped up in it enough. One thing I did like about the film was the kind of group of young men that the film builds, that sort of character base around our central character. I think everything with those felt really good, felt really refreshing and quite alive in the screenplay and in the way that it's photographed. I think a little bit more spice overall. That makes me sound like I don't want it to get raunchy. I don't mean that. I don't want it spicy. It didn't need to be a spicy film in that sense. But just a little bit more flavour here and there in the film might have helped it feel a little bit more impactful in its genre. I think I should have loved this film much more than I did end up loving it. Which is, we'll leave it at that. But what about you guys? Have you seen The Lost Boys? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. If you've seen it at the film festival or anywhere else it may have been showing through the year. If you like this video and you want to see me talk about more shit, go ahead and click subscribe. The button is down there. You won't miss any future reviews, which there are going to be many of, because film festival season, baby. It's a lot. I will see you guys very soon for some more thoughts on more films. But until next time, I need to find the cinematographer's film's other works, because dude could make a toilet look good.